Chaz in race 1.
He takes it out. It's a 1-2 for the team.
Then his teammate followed suit.
The Pepsi Max crew scored their 50th V8 Supercar race win.
With heartache again for McLaughlin.
Off the road big time as McLaughlin.
And the red versus blue rivalry is on. 9 points separates Mark Winterbottom from championship leader Craig Lowndes.
So that was yesterday. Today, it's time to reset and start again.
Andre Heimgartner.
Oh,
then he got whacked. Oh,
big trouble here.
There's 200 Ks where anything can happen, especially in the infamous Turn 1.
But look at the drama back here. Man, it's all happening. Oh, lonely walk back for Garth Tander.
Today, everyone plays their part. It's the MP300 Navara Winton Super Sprint, live on Fox Sports.
Corner there, I just went through there at about 280k. They are two heated competitors. This kid is dynamite. They've done it again.
Another gorgeous day greets us here at Winton Raceway for the MP300 Navara Super Sprint. The drivers getting warmed up, ready to hit the track for a big day of racing. The fans also loving it here at Winton. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Supercars Live, driven by Super Cheap Auto. I'm Jessica Yates. It is great to have your company this Sunday. Alongside me, also for all of the action today, it is a very good morning to Mark Scaife and Russell Ingall. Good morning, guys. Another day. Beautiful sunshine streaming down here on us at Winton Raceway. A longer format today and also soft tyres come into play.
Yeah, morning Jess, morning everybody. I can't wait. We've had now 7 different winners from 11 races. It's been fantastic. And the championship battle, it's on.
Oh, absolutely. Like the first race was very measured yesterday. The second race, I think the circuit breaker popped on a few, and there would have been some interesting chat in the back of trucks last night, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Everyone looking forward to a very good night's rest as we reset for a big day today on track. The V8 Supercars will hit the circuit this morning. They'll have a final practice session before qualifying gets underway. Then the big one, 200 kilometres, 67 laps, 150 points on offer for the championship. Also today, in and around that, we'll have the Dunlop Series and the Touring Car Masters as well. So a big day here. We can't wait to get stuck into it. But a bit of news overnight gave you a couple of penalties handed out to a few drivers.
Yeah, lots of drama. We saw Scott McLaughlin there in the opener being spun round, and this was how this started. It was Tim Blanchard, Ash Walsh, Scott McLaughlin and Dale Wood. Dale Wood, they were 2 abreast as they come out of turn 3. Dale Wood fires down the inside into turn 4. McLaughlin was a little bit wide, made contact and pushed McLaughlin off the road. Dale Wood got a 15-point penalty for that. This is the front view of the contact, and what a shocking year so far for Scott McLaughlin. We also saw young James Moffat turning into turn 11, and bang! That was Jason Bright into the back, 25-point penalty for him, and he only just got the car turned around without young Heimgartner actually did a really good job to miss him. But out of all that, the most controversial thing, Jess, was James Courtney firing down into turn 1, making contact with Garth Tander, the teammate, and this was the vision of it. And Lee Holdsworth, also from the same garage, was caught up in that. That's the wheel locked for Courtney into Tander, and chaos reigned.
Oh, look, there is an avenue down there. It actually goes down the pit exit, and there is a bit of a spot there you can actually get down and pass. James just went in way too deep. I was talking to one of his crew. Apparently he went like something like 40 metres too deep into that one. So, yeah, it was never going to happen.
And drive-through penalty for James Courtney in the race.
Absolutely. Look, HRT really having a tough weekend out. They will be looking to turn it around today. Big points on offer, and JC really needs to collect if he's to stay in this championship hunt.
Yeah, well, that really hurt him yesterday. He's been really consistent. You can't do those things in this sport and win the championship.
Yeah, gearing up for a big morning of practice, then qualifying. But before we hit the V8 Supercars, of course, it is time for the Dunlop Series. Cam Waters, keep your eye on him. He is a rising star in this category. But let's say a very good morning to Greg Rust and Greg Murphy.
On what is a glorious day here at Winton Motor Raceway. We're all set on the grid for race 2 of the third round of the Dunlop series for V8 supercars, the second tier of the championship, where there are aspiring champions and those that will be pairing up with some of the stars in the main game for the Enduros. Lots of stories to tell in the wake of yesterday, but first, Greg Murphy, let's take a closer look at the layout.
Yeah, the Winton circuit, a couple hundred Ks north of Melbourne, is a tricky little one. It's the slowest average speed of any track we go to in the country. 12 corners, lots of second, third gear stuff around here. It's a tricky little place to get right, and can be quite challenging depending on the car setup. Guys will work continuously on trying to get the best out of their cars around this track. Only 36% full throttle time throughout the 3Ks, so a tricky little one, and as we say, it points out just how slow the track is. 225 Ks, the fastest down the front straight.
Cam Ward is in unstoppable form at the moment. The 3 wins at Barbagallo, the pole position yesterday, and another great win.
Yeah, it's going really well at the moment, so hopefully we can keep that form going today and get another 2 wins.
Sitting again on the front of the grid, Andy Jones next to you, but you just seem to be at one with the car at the moment.
Yeah, the car's been really good lately, and I've been driving it well, and the team's been doing a good job. So I think we probably missed the setup a little bit yesterday, but it looked after its tyres well. So yeah, hopefully when race 3 comes, we've got a bit of tyre to work with.
Good luck.
Thank you.
4th consecutive win yesterday, just in tremendous form in this series. And that's quite a revelation there, that he didn't actually feel as though the setup was right. Andrew Jones was showing some good speed throughout the race yesterday. If you haven't followed the Dunlop series before, unlike the main game where we'll have another qualifying today and an endurance race this afternoon, this is a progressive formula. So the grid that you see here today is the result of race 1 yesterday.
Chris Pither, a bit of a tougher day out for yourself yesterday, and James Goldinger, he was a bit tough for you yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit of a rough start. Got shuffled out there at that turn 1 a bit, and definitely hurt the run up to turn 3 and lost a few spots. But I think the car was pretty strong. We had some good pace later in the race, so hopefully we can get away to a clean start today and make up a few positions.
These second races always mix it up a bit because everyone's on different tyre strategies.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting. It's always hard to tell what everyone's doing, so we'll get out there, and I'm sure you'll see a few positions changing today.
Have a good run.
Thanks.
It was a great story, that, because Pither is one of the fast guys in this class, and James Golding earned a top 5 finish by holding Pither off at the start. The NZ Falcon led the way from Andy Jones, but look at what happened for Jack LeBrock.
Yeah. LeBrock went across the grass, went in deep, got past Pither, and that probably started off Chris's problems. Bit of a lock up further back and some action going on. Oh, Hansen didn't come off good on that one. But James Golding, that was the move that he put on the Icebreak Falcon, as we saw Simon Evans just run that little bit wide, as did Hazelwood 1 corner later. So it was all action, because this happened on the first lap as well. Ian Cheney off at 5, grabbing some mud. This was a sad story for Macaulay Jones, getting the car damaged. The safety car was brought out to remove that car, but when we returned to racing, Cam Waters, he showed that clean pair of heels. Some good racing going on further back. Leoncini making up for that spin. And Pither putting a move on Dixon, who was very strong and impressive yesterday. He's coming on leaps and bounds. Evans was recovering.
It was his best qualifying performance, Simon Evans, yesterday, so he was so disappointed to have that early off. Jacobson, the mood in the Eggleston Motorsport team is they want these guys to get the passes done early, a bit like Paul Dumbrell does, and be up the front of the field fighting for that podium. Bryce Fullwood looking on, or in the mix, I should say, with Leoncini here and the Challenger entry, but up front it was Cam Waters on the way to another win that extended his points lead to 90 over Paul Dumbrell coming into this race.
4 straight race wins for this young guy. From pole position again for race 2 here at Winton. He'll be looking to get a clean start and dominate again. Andrew Jones will have different ideas. He was strong yesterday. The local driver just from down the road in Albury, Brad Jones Racing. Big operation this weekend, again, running the 3 Development Series cars and the 3 in the main game. But Cam Waters got the eyes on, as we heard him say, still working on the setup. He is relentless at the moment, and got just rewards for that. relentless driving by being signed with Chaz Mostert for the Pertec Endurance Cup coming up in a few months' time, and that put a big smile on his face.
So here's how they'll line up for race 2. And it reflects the results, as we said, of the first race yesterday. Cameron Waters, the championship leader, from pole position, alongside Andrew Jones. Paul Dumbrell, car number 1, alongside Jack LeBrock, who had that podium in WA. James Golding, tremendous story, the youngster. Bieber, they call him, alongside Chris Pither, row 3. Then Ant Pedersen, the Kiwi. Jesse Dixon, brilliant performance yesterday, as Merv said. Shay Davies, Taz Douglas, just outside the 10. Watch for Hazelwood and Evans in this race. Matt Charter as well, that brand new car. That's a good result for him too, Murph.
Yeah, great result, driving a car that he hasn't spent any time in. They just received that car, and it was the ex-Scott McLaughlin Falcon. And so he was running a Commodore up until this point, so a big change there. Matt Hansen down the back, Aaron McGill, and Macaulay Jones and Aaron Russell, 2 guys that were looking for solid weekends off the back. Aaron Russell had a power steering issue yesterday. They had a pressure relief valve within the power steering pump that was faulty, and it came and went throughout the race. He did a poor result.
He did a stint of 8 laps without it, they said.
One of the hardest things you can do
around here.
They are so tough to drive, these cars, with the steering geometry that they've got in them. No power steering and trying to push fluid from side to side without the assistance is incredibly tough. Macaulay Jones obviously having that incident with Gary Jacobson on the first lap, and he had a DNF and will start last.
So scheduled for 18 laps this one, and perhaps a little bit of gamesmanship tyre-wise here, what we may do.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's tricky. We saw it in Perth a few weeks ago, guys trying to manage how they went about their strategy with the tyres. This weekend, they don't have the tyre dig the same as in Perth, but it's still a critical decision to make. And I would be pretty confident in saying that the young guy here, Cam Waters, has probably gone for a bit of a mixed bag on the tyre situation to save a couple for the last race coming up later on this afternoon. And there'll be a few guys that might roll the dice just to try and make up a few positions by running another new set of tyres, but at this stage we're fairly unaware of what those strategies are. So they line up now. Andrew Jones right on his marks, got the nose ahead of the number 5 as he gets ready for the green flag at the back. The last few lining up now.
Forming up.
He's done countless miles around here. Andrew Jones, the BJR squad, they know it so well. There's the plus fitness entry to the left. Aaron Russell, Macaulay Jones to the right at the back of the grid. Good to go.
Jones, a great jump.
Not good for LeBrock. LeBrock's had a tough one off the line. Golding not sure what the impact of all that is. Outside.
Oh, Jacobson or Peterson. Peterson, I think that is. Wow, Waters manages still to get ahead of Jones. Another fast start. Oh, off the side is Dixon. He's out wide. There's some damage there. Golding's damaged.
We think there may have been contact there with either Dixon or Hazelwood, was it?
He's going, that's the end of his race. He's got damage to the front, probably a puncture or something, but Evans gets held up trying to get past. He's blocked in behind Golding. This is slowing him down big time. Dumbrell, another blinder to hold that third position. He was unable to do anything with it when he got away, but he got away very sharply. Waters was a little bit slow, but Golding still just a bit of a mobile chicane at the moment for the rest of the field. There's Russell. What an awesome start by Aaron Russell.
He's made some good ground, hasn't he?
From the back row. Brilliant. Leoncini following him through. There's Bryce forward as well, but the 99. What a disaster after such an amazing run yesterday to 5th position.
So good first sector on this opening lap from Waters, but Andrew Jones responds through sector 2. They file through turn 11 here now.
Jones would have been just working so hard, focused on that start to try and get ahead of Waters.
.4, nearly half a second, in fact, between Waters and Jones at the end of the first lap. Dumbrell, the Eggleston Motorsport team, feel like they had a good debrief overnight and they've learned some things with these cars, expecting car 1 in particular to be better today.
LeBrock was the standout there, did not get... Oh, look at that!
Dixon!
He's a foot off the ground, sideways. And then Golding just rubs him again, but Wow. We were lucky that didn't end a lot worse.
It's like the parting of the seas for Josh Keane. He's seen an opportunity. Out wide, Ant Pedersen to the right of your screen. And look at Hazelwood in the background too, trying to find a way through.
Pedersen doing a James Courtney impersonation from yesterday. Out across the grass. He's Keane, putting pressure on Davies. A little bit of a touch and another one just to give him the warning.
They're through to 6th and 7th. Davies is holding down 6th
On the
place
outside now too, Josh Keane. Davies going to move him over. He did, he moved him over. He got into the grass on the outside. He pushed Keane over and could not stop the 21 car as he got down into turn 10. Into a half spin. It was always going to look bad. There's Jesse Dixon's car, unable to continue after that massive climb on the start. So, real unfortunate situation. Here's another replay. LeBrock, as we say, got away slow. Dixon got a good one. He got squeezed as Pither moved over as well.
It doesn't look so violent from that angle. Look at this one here, though.
It's a 10 out of 10 in the high jump there for Jesse Dixon. And here we go, the replay. There was plenty of room, but Davies just squeezed over too much there, in my opinion. From that angle, that's what it looks like. And Keane had nowhere to go except put his foot on the brake. Oh, there's Chris Waters getting fairly excited. Cam's dad. Golding, James Golding. Scott McLaughlin just consoling him after that situation. He was reasonably innocent by the looks of it. It's damaged the front of the car.
Back at the front, 0.59 now, 5.4 in fact. As they come through that second intermediate, round turn 10.
Yeah, potentially, Rusty, it looks like there could be some maybe dust or cement dust or something down on the road. I
wonder if that's come from Keane's car, maybe when Keane's gone around. Or
it's pretty dirty down there. And but anyway, Josh Keane didn't really have the platform to break that car. He was squeezed and got those tyres dirty, which forced him into that half spin.
James Golding, like yesterday, a really chaotic opening lap, and unfortunately you are standing in pit lane.
Yeah, it's not really what we wanted this part of the weekend. Had a really good run yesterday, tried to keep that going, but unfortunately this stuff happens in racing and we've just got to move on.
As you said yesterday, really sensational run, P5.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm looking forward to the next race. Hopefully we can do well there.
Good luck, thank you.
Thanks.
Would have been a decent hit when they made contact. They just can't get over how much car 10 launched off the ground from the virtually a standing position. So Matt Charter to the right of your screen, car 18 here.
Dan Day, he climbs off the curb. Oh, where's Dan Day going to end up? Oh, very lucky there. There's the marshal's post. There would have been square in the eyes there as he sort of exited the track out of turn 1. Yeah, there's a lot of dust and dirt down into the braking zone on the outside into 10. Waters is controlling this though and doing a nice job. There's Macaulay Jones in the middle behind Fujitsu entry of Renee Gracie. That's got a little bit of damage to the right rear. You can see a little bit of smoke coming off. So she's been in the wars and in action. You can see the bumper there pushed up onto the tyre.
Paulie picked up 6 positions from the back of the grid.
He's 20 down the inside into the brakes into 11. He gets it done. Renee gives him room. Good pass.
He's got damage to the left front. Renee's got damage in the rear.
What are you saying, Rusty? What are you saying?
I wonder if the pair of them have made contact. Let's have a look.
And you are incredibly accurate on your assumption. So there we have it, into 7. Macaulay's tried to come across the back of Renee to get down the inside. Couldn't get it done. And
is that Charter going off there at turn 1 this time? Turn 1, turn 2.
So the fans here at Winton getting plenty of action this morning. Early on, the first race on Sunday for the Dunlop Series. Another one to come later on.
These two are 11th and 12th respectively. Josh Keane in car 21. Charter behind him. Given the incidents that have unfolded so far, Charter's doing a ripping job here to almost be in the top 10. And he's ventured off the circuit, as you saw there a moment ago in the replay as well. So it's Waters leading the way from Andrew Jones by 0.89. LeBrock and Dumbrell battling over that third position. And Shay Davies up to 6th, but will that be the subject of some sort of investigation post-race, given the contact with the 21 machine of Josh Keane?
Josh Keane doing a really good job this weekend so far. He's lost a couple of spots from his starting position early on, but looking pacey. Paul Morris, Jacobson behind with the headlights on, trying to recover from a pretty average day yesterday. There's Gary Jacobson. He's looking racy. As we said before the start of this race, different strategies here with the tyres. Everyone trying to have the best possible set on the car for the final this afternoon. But a few guys will be looking to make up positions to get a better start spot for that race. So,
at the Acra plate entry, I think it's Kostecki, is it, that's gone off?
I think that's at the exit of turn 3, is it, potentially? He's getting going again. Yep, exit of turn 3.
23rd position. Morris, who we were watching there a moment ago, just struggling to get that car turned, he said yesterday.
Oh, here we go. Leon Cheney. Was there a little touch there?
Didn't look like it.
I don't know, yeah. He may have just gone in a bit deeper trying to protect that position. And you get a little bit wide around this Winton circuit. There's not a lot of grip offline, especially in those positions. Anyway, there we go. Jacobson putting the move on Morris. Gets it done. So he's doing what Ben Eccleston, team manager, has asked them to do. Get a bit more aggressive. Get the moves on some of these guys. Follow suit with what Paul Dumbrell's been doing. So it's good to see them racing hard. And Pearson now. He's working on Hazelwood, his teammate. After clearing Paul Morris is now coming up behind him. Davies ahead of that one, sitting in 6th position. So it's been a good run for Shay Davies. It's benefited from a little bit of that start line action. But it's Waters holding just that 9/10 of a second lead at the moment. I reckon he's just looking after his car, doing what he needs to do at the moment with Andrew Jones behind. But this battle going on. Pedersen really keen to get a move on Hazelwood here. He shows the nose down the inside into 10. Not close enough, though, to get an overlap.
Considering the difficulties that Hazelwood went through on Friday, to be in position 7 here at the moment is a terrific recovery. They've worked very hard in that team. And look at how angry, how aggressive Pedersen's getting here in the 38. He knows that Jacobson, his teammate's closing as well. Well, Simon Evans may have progressed. He's managed to get to 15th.
He had that bad start. He got caught behind James Golding and just sort of couldn't put himself in the position, was always looking the wrong side to get past. And I think that was pretty costly. He didn't get away, didn't get a good start at all. And I was talking to his engineer just before the race, Dean Lilly. And obviously they were really disappointed yesterday. Simon went off the road, just got caught a little wide early on and was battling hard. He was really impressed with the moves he was putting on drivers. He was showing some good tenacity to move his way forward, understanding that the start position today would be the finishing order from yesterday's race. But he's just having a bit of a struggle there at the moment behind Dan Day. As we look back to the front, that gap not really changing a lot, still just under a second. Cam Waters controlling it. He's got so much momentum going at the moment. With the confidence that's been built from Barbagallo, those 3 wins over there, pole position, and so far a race win, and he's leading this one comfortably.
Just to update you on the tyres and the first lot of drivers in this race, both Cam Waters and Cam Waters is using a combination of tyres. Paul Dumbrell and Jack LeBrock are using their second lot of tyres, and Andy Jones is on a good set of tyres. So there's a bit of a mixture in the top group of these drivers.
It's going to make for an interesting race 3 this afternoon. Rihanna, thank you.
So there we have it. The strategy into play on these guys. Some of them looking for that track position.
You were watching closely yesterday the way that LeBrock was able to get the car turned at this point of the circuit relative to Eggleston's car.
Yeah, we'll see it here at turn 9. Usually shows it quite well. There we go, pulled umbrella coming through the centre, very wide. And LeBrock in that case, not so much exaggerated, but probably being able to come off a bit narrower off the turn, which generally means the car's a bit straighter and therefore maybe the traction would be better. The pulled umbrella using the curb on the exit nicely and doesn't seem to be losing anything to LeBrock out of turn 9, now down to 11. But there we can see it. It was highlighted there, just the way Dumbrell's arc through that turn was a lot wider. Charter just having a moment, sliding the Cavalier Homes, Cook Falcon. This battle continuing. I reckon Jacobson's going to be there. There he is. So it becomes 4. His lights are ablaze. He wants to prove something.
Really neat story too, Gary Jacobson. He hails from Shepparton, and the family have a transport bus business, and he drives occasionally for them, and they had 15 intellectually disabled guests here on Friday. It was fantastic, and he often drives them to school, things like that. Really cool.
Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant to see. Gets to showcase it here at Winton, just down the road from Shepparton, so they all came along and had an amazing day. And now Gary's behind the wheel of a brutal V8 supercar, doing the job.
He enjoys his driving. He's in recent weeks been in all kinds of things, racing in the UK as well.
A little bit different to the bus.
Very. But the boss has asked he and Ant Pedersen to lift it a rung, to try and be there with Paul Dumbrell on a more regular basis. So they look hungry, these two, to get by, if they can, Hazelwood and Shay Davies. That will not be an easy task based on what we've seen so far.
Davies doing a good job here at the moment, not succumbing to any pressure from Hazelwood. All these guys really building in stature as development series drivers, learning so much. But it's very close at the moment, and I reckon there's going to be a bit of movement here.
Jacobson seems to be able to fire it into the corner well, doesn't he, in that 54 machine. The 38 is the Kiwi Ant Pedersen, who'll be with Super Black Racing for the Enduros. Hazelwood ahead of them, part of the Matt Stone racing operation. They were scratching their heads a little on Friday, but they've recovered. Good job. In the top 7 at present. 1.3 seconds between Waters and Andrew Jones at the front. Maximum points so far for Cam Waters, given if he can complete the race where he is right now. And he continues the run that he's enjoyed from WA, picking up a race win, of course.
Oh,
on
a touch there, look at that.
500, yeah.
Bumping the teammates. Jacobson going, come on, get on with it, Ant. Let's go, let's go.
Is that Morris getting in the mix in the background there too?
So
in
the
the
headlights
67.
are on both the cars now. But Jacobson getting frustrated. He wants to get through and make some more spots. So we'll see what happens here. I'm sure there'll be no team orders whatsoever. These guys are battling in their own races and in their own championships. But Jacobson giving his teammate a little bit of a bump through 9. And it looks like Ant has just dropped off the back of Hazelwood a little bit too. So maybe starting to struggle a bit more.
Look at Morris in the United Falcon.
Yeah, this has given him the opportunity to catch up again too and watch this battle up close and personal in the United entry. I reckon Ant Pedersen maybe just starting to slide off the back of Hazelwood. As we look at the last lap times. He's a little bit slower than Bauer, about 3 or 4 tenths from Todd Hazelwood. You can see the gap that's just increased. Jacobson looking to line up his teammate. He's too wide here, using a lot of road. Couldn't get down the inside of the 38.
6.5 to go. Morris looks speedy here as well. So while Jacobson's trying to get the job done and move by his teammate Ant Pedersen without causing any grief, Morris senses opportunity. That's given Hazelwood about a car length in breathing space. race, and what a recovery from Josh Keane. He's actually not too far behind these guys. Remember, early on, he was involved in that skirmish with Shay Davies. He's almost back in the mix with these guys.
Brad Jones, it was a tough outing for Andy Jones last time at Barbagallo, but having a really good run so far this weekend.
Yeah, Andy's doing an amazing job. He's just you know, that little tiny bit he needs, but he's hanging on to Cam, and a couple of second places. He's having a really good start to the weekend.
It was a bit of an awkward moment in your garage between a couple of your guys in the V8 Supercar main game qualifying yesterday. How did that get handled in a debrief last night?
I wasn't here yesterday, so probably a bad day to be away, actually. So, look, you know, you're going to always, when you've got race car drivers, there's going to be a little bit of contact eventually, and it's important. We're all competitive amongst ourselves, but also we got to get along. You see each other so much, so, you know, there's a bit of talking to do, but we'll get it sorted out.
We want to talk Pertec Enduro Cup. Luke Youlden has been confirmed with Fabian Coulthard later this year, but the other two boys haven't quite yet confirmed who they'll be driving with. Will we have an announcement relatively soon?
Yeah, look, it's just one of those working. I don't think there's any secret who's going to be driving with Bridie and with Dale. You know, we just need to see how Macaulay's going. So, you know, when I think the time is right, then we'll work out exactly what we're going to do, and we'll let everyone know.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Here comes Morris. Jacobson's got it covered for the next corner. Morris switches.
And Jacobson covers.
Time to go. Keep that car nice and smooth.
I just think he hasn't been able to use those tyres as effectively as he wanted to. And I probably would say he's got a fresh set on for this race, trying to move forward to get a better start position for that third race today. And it hasn't quite paid off. He hasn't managed to use them as effectively. So now Morris has got the pressure on him. And then that gap to Pedersen is growing. Taking the pressure off the Kiwi. So I reckon there's a bit of frustration inside the 54, inside that helmet. You can sort of sense just the way he's driving. It hasn't quite paid off, and he's not overly pleased about it. Shay Davies continuing to do a good job. Bit of a slide through the exit of 4.
He's in 6th position at the moment, Murph. If he stays there or improves, it'll be a personal best result for Shay Davies in the Dunlop series. So that's awesome for him. Morris, when he left our commentary box yesterday, said, I'm getting too old, but he doesn't look like it at the moment.
No, he's enjoying this. He'll have a grin from ear to ear. Just loves the competition, loves the racing. He gets such a thrill out of it, so he'll be enjoying every second of this at the moment. Showed the nose into 7, wasn't quite up far enough to get a move done. They climbed the curb at the exit of 9. Tricky braking down into 10. Just looking at the time sheets there, Rusty. Simon Evans has dropped back. Not quite sure what's going on there, but he's fallen back to 18th.
Wonder if the Macaulay Jones. Look at this here.
Oh, he's run. Oh, deep.
Thought he may have. There was no contact, I don't think, but gee, they went close. He's obviously trying to avoid the contact. In fact, look at Keane in the background there as well. Closing.
There's a massive gap from Pivot back to Davies.
Just to put your point about Simon Evans back in 18th position, we know that Brock is part of that stable as well. He's 4th, so is Chris Pither under the Matthew White Racing banner. Is there perhaps a plan at Matthew White Racing? Maybe save good rubber for the final race as Charter goes off at turn 1 and 2.
Goes off. And he's back there in 13th at the moment as Matt Charter. Yeah, not sure about that one. I think there's probably a bigger issue there. Something. I think he shouldn't have dropped back because other people would be on a similar strategy. And so maybe he's got caught up there. We've missed something, but he has been dropping back. Macaulay Jones now ahead of him after starting from the back of the grid. Here's Charter just exiting stage right. Keeps his foot in it. Doesn't lose a spot, but those tyres will have a bit of grass on them. He's our leader. Cam Waters doing it easy. We haven't been looking at him too much. Not much to focus on there. He's out the front, keeping it clean, controlling the race.
Almost by 1.6 seconds. He has the fastest lap of the race so far as well. 1 minute 25.54, but comparatively, Andrew Jones has actually done a very good job here. Here he is, car 8.
LeBrock still. That's 2 races in a row. He's been right on the bumper of the #1 Eccleston Motorsport car. And just hoping that he can try and get a mistake out of Paul Dumbrell, which they don't often come. So great to see him applying that pressure. He's got a teammate behind him and Chris Pither, who's just a few seconds back. This is a real mature drive. Great to see, you know, this all starting to really play out and work out for Jack Le Brocq.
You were watching the way that Paul Dumbrell had to attack the car yesterday. Do you feel like it's coming a bit easier to him today? Ben Eggleston was pretty confident. They've made some changes that would help him in that regard today.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it all comes down to, again, well, I see he runs really wide. I think he's still struggling with the front end of that car. And depending on, you know, what strategy they did use with tyres, suggested by Rihanna that maybe he's got four new tyres on the car, and that maybe Cam Waters has only got 2. Morris, as he dives deep, there's a little lock. Gary gives him room. She's going to be a race. No, Morris has got it. He's moved over. As Jacobson comes back on the road, there's a bit of a touch, but Morris repays the favour that it's happened 5 or 6 laps ago when Jacobson got past him. He's just starting to struggle now at the 54. He was right on Ant Peterson, threatening, and now he's lost a spot. There's Josh Keane, as you mentioned earlier, starting to move on in with a couple of laps to go. Oh, there's Day, Dan Day.
Street Fighter Performance Falcon. And he was
the road.
17th place.
It was down at turn 11 somewhere. He's gone off the road. There's Simon Evans we're talking about earlier, just coming back onto the front straight. But this has been all about Cam Waters again as far as performances, just dominating.
Well, updated between now and race 3, but hopefully Golding's gone. Macaulay Jones and Jason Leoncini, that's off turn 3.
Yeah, that battle had been going on for a little while. Macaulay recovering from that DNF yesterday, starting off the back of the grid. And now Dale try to get advantage on the recovering Leoncini. He goes, he keeps that spot. Leoncini around the outside through 5. As Evans climbs on the back of that.
Let's have a look here.
Oh, it's a tricky one. Very tough. The track narrows so much into 3. Macaulay got a long way up the inside. He seemed to be in control of that, in my opinion, from that angle. And Leoncini just trying to stay there. It looked like he ended up giving them room, and maybe it just wasn't enough. So that was a real tough one, a tough call there. Not quite sure which way that one will go. But Macaulay was a long way up the inside.
So 1.7 seconds it is now. I walked in and spoke with Rod Nash prior to the start of this race just to get a debrief on how things finished yesterday in the main game. They were massively pleased, obviously, but they also felt the contribution that Cam Waters brought to the table for the laps that he did in the main game cars on Friday was very good, and they're excited about this young guy joining Chaz Mostert for the Enduros. They'll be a terrific combination.
I tell you, he's really just doing what he needs to do, nothing more in this race. You know, his lap times, he's just keeping that gap to Andrew Jones. He knows there's very little of this race remaining, and he crosses the line to grab.
Brilliant performance. Waters wins. Indeed, it was a job well done.
Just controlled beautifully. The battle's continuing. Hazelwood getting feisty on the last lap with Davies, who's driven superbly. They all get on to the front straight for the last time. Peterson just behind. So a superb controlled drive there too by Shea Davies. Well done.
6th place, his best result in the Dunlop Series, and for Cam Waters, first man since Jonathan Webb in 2009 to win 5 straight Development Series races. Only Paul Dumbrell has won 6 in a row, and that went on to, I think, become a massive streak for him, 10 races. So Waters in very good shape for this 2015 championship. Good drive by Andrew Jones as well. It's a good recovery from Perth, Murph, where it was a difficult outing for Andrew, and Dumbrell completes the top three. LeBrock rather pushed him, is what I was trying to say. And who will have good rubber for the final race? We can't wait to see that. There should be some good action, as there was in race 2.
3 Eggleston Motorsport cars in the top 10. Probably still not quite what Ben Eggleston's looking for. Josh Keane, another good result. Taz Douglas strong through to 12th. Chart off the road a number of times.
Let's hope the Golding and Dixon cars will be right for that final race as well.
That was spectacular.
Unbelievable. So here's the championship leader. He led by 90 coming into this race. In less than 15 minutes, the main game guys will be on track. Final chance to tune before they qualify for this afternoon's 200-kilometre enduro at Winton.
Well, Scotty Pye, DJR Team Penske, good to have a little catch-up, mate. It's been an interesting start for you, obviously missing Adelaide and then slipping into the seat at Simmons Plains. How's it going?
Yes, it's certainly been an odd start to the year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I came in as the expectations of just being a co-driver this year, so to be boosted up as lead driver for, well, temporarily at the moment, but it's a good time, good place to be. Obviously, Team Penske is trying to help those guys as well, coming into DJR, a team that's, well founded here in Australia, and, we're just trying to improve the car, work on the team, get everyone working together really well. I think individually we've got some great guys, and we just got to get everyone working together as a team, and for me it's a great position. It's a win-win. At this point in the year I wouldn't be driving normally, so
yep.
It's obviously I want to be at the front, but for me, like I said, it's really a win-win.
Yeah, and it's obviously a fair bit of pressure on you as well. I mean, having that name Penske there, obviously it's a huge name. It's a massive undertaking to try and fill into that team and
Yeah.
do the job that's expected of you by Mr. Roger Penske. So obviously that's a challenge. So having a little bit of time off coming up, be able to relax and recharge the batteries. We've got a 5-week break between Darwin. What's the plan there? What do you got on the agenda?
There's a few actually in V8s now that have just gone and got KZ karts this year, shifter karts. So I've actually just put my order in and my car arrived yesterday, so I'm hanging to get back to Brisbane, put that together, and over the next 5-week break I'm going to be in that as much as possible and
ripping it up.
Yeah, trying to get competitive in that, and then I might show my face at the track with a few other V8 guys.
Good on you, mate. Well, hey, I know you've got a bit of racing to do today. Good luck for that one.
Thank you.
It's quite nice in there, so you could probably sit here and relax, although I've got a bit of work to do as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having a Woodstock, but see what happens. Hey, have a good weekend, and hopefully a bit of KZ racing between now and Darwin. We'll see you up there.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Mate.
Scott Pye finishing 15th and 18th yesterday in races 10 and 11. He'll be looking to utilise this final practice session this morning to get some good qualifying down and set himself up for the longer race format this afternoon. Let's check in now with our motorsport insider, Chris Stubbs, and get an update from the pits. Good morning, Stubbsy.
Good morning, Jess. Here we are at HRT, and the guys touched on a little bit earlier about what a difficult situation the boys find themselves in today. I can tell you that they were here till late last night fixing damage to the cars, but I think they've still got a little bit of work to do to fix those damaged relationships, don't you? So we saw that incident at Turn 1 yesterday. The official line is yesterday is history. That's certainly not the vibe that I've picked up here this morning. So Garth Tander, I think he said more by not saying much to me. James Courtney likewise. Charlie Schwerkolb, the other innocent party in this, his man Lee Holdsworth within this Walkinshaw stable, he wasn't happy at all still with his old protege, James Courtney. What an interesting situation there. Of course, the two men in 2010 at DJR working so closely together to get that championship victory. Well, walking back from the True Colour track walk and happened to be behind Charlie, and JC just put his arm around him and said, look, Dad, you can't be angry with me forever. So I think time will heal wounds. Nothing too serious, but a little bit frosty to say the least. We'll see how it unfolds throughout the day, Jess.
Yeah, there was plenty to read in that body language. Thanks very much, Stubbsy. A long night for the guys in the garage at HRT. There was substantial damage to both of those cars.
In our sport, Jess, that's as wild as it ever gets, because running into your teammate, and look, no one does that purposely. You don't drive down to the first corner and say, oh, look, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll run into Garth Tander. I mean, that just doesn't happen purposely. So Courtney fired down there, and we've said it all weekend, there's a pit exit road which is on the inside, far inside, and then that road runs out. So what Courtney did is he was down there, dirty side of the road, put his foot on the brake, battled to stop, and then of all the blokes to run into, you get your teammate. It's pretty ugly.
I mean, it was just disastrous. But as you said, Mark, you don't do it on purpose, and we don't want to blow it up too much. You've got to have a go too.
You've got to feel for Lee Holdsworth in this situation, though, because he's had some pretty bad luck so far this season.
Oh, absolutely. Lee's had a horrendous season, really. I mean, I liken it a bit like Scott McLaughlin as well, that he's been caught up in other people's accidents. He's had mechanical failures as well. He has had a shocking run, but it comes down to the same old thing. You qualify in that mid-pack, and that's the danger zone. Anything lower than 12th, I think, nowadays. I was going to say 15th, but I reckon anything lower than 12th and you're in trouble. And that's what happens in the first corner. And we've seen it all before in turn one, especially at Winton. Those sort of things happen. So, yes, it's a bad situation, but James has just got to put that out of his head, which I'm sure he will. And the best way he can bounce back is come back with a result.
So this next session coming up, the final practice session for the guys. Pro Drive, obviously with the optimum setup for qualifying, but a lot of other teams really looking to fine-tune the setup that they had yesterday to hit the track later today, around midday for qualifying.
Yeah, so the really key things now is you've got to be able to have the car be competitive on hard and soft tyres. So today we use soft tyres in the race. They can't use soft tyres in qualifying. So they've got to qualify on hard tyre, make sure you can get the best lap, because qualifying is unbelievably important here, and then be able to make sure that you use the soft tyre well in the race today, 200 kilometres.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, if I was Pro Drive, I'd be polishing the hubcaps and just send the car with the same setup as I had yesterday.
Exactly.
If you were Wing Cup, I'd be having a swing at it. You got nothing to lose. Yes, he salvaged yesterday, but clearly, and in his reports, clearly not happy with the speed of the car. Might as well have a punt at it, and especially with the practice session.
Well, Practice 4 is coming up next here on Fox Sports. But as we go to the break, let's go behind the scenes with Super Cheap Auto Racing.
I love driving because it's just being out on the road, the freedom. You virtually, you're in here by yourself, you're your own boss. Yeah, if I was just doing a normal 9-to-5 job in an office or a factory or something like that, like half of the places I've been to in my 20 years of driving, like I would have never ever have been to in my life. Yeah, just the freedom, and I just love being out on the road and obviously driving a big rig like this. This is the truck I drive. It's got 34 wheels. We've got fuel capacity of 1,200 litres, which will give us roughly about 2,000 kilometres of travelling. Here's the A-trailer here. It'll have all the tyres, spare parts, you name it, like for the guards, doors, for when we have an accident, we just pull everything out and we can just put it on the car and start all over again. The B-trailer, well, that's just got everything in it. Like if you have a look under here, there's containers just full of everything. Like basically it's just a big mobile workshop. We can just bring everything out of here and just put it in the garage and just set up. It's just fantastic. Super Cheap Auto Racing, the signage on the side is colourful. That's why no one can miss us. And so if you come inside, I'll show you inside the transporter. So here we are inside the transporter here. Up here, this is where we sit the cars. They're tied up here, so both cars sit up here and travel along. All the space in here, at the moment we're in race mode, so everything's been taken out of it. Every square inch of this truck is just jam-packed with all our equipment. We just bring everything with us so we can set up in the garage, and if we need it, it travels in here and we've got it. This is where the drivers sit. They'll sit up here, get ready, changed and stuff like that. And if you just come down the back here, you can see we've got brakes, we've got front suspension in the toolboxes, all steering components, and also down here, like Tim's even got his own massage table here, so after a race, if he's feeling a bit stiff, well, there it is. He just jumps on, and our PT guy, he'll just come along and give Tim a bit of a rub down. The driving would probably be 10% of your job. The rest of the time, I'm actually Tim Slade's tyre guy, so I'll get all the tyres at the racetrack. We'll put the new tyres on, the greens that we call the new tyres, that are supplied by Dunlop, and we'll mount them all up on the rims. We'll pressure them up, write all the barcode numbers down and record them all for our engineers and reference, measure the depth of the tyre when they're brand new, which gives us more information later on for the engineer. Being an ex-interstate truck driver and been truckie for 20 years, I do like sleeping in the truck. This is where I sleep. I just try and make it as comfortable as I can. Sometimes I do get better sleeps in here than I do at home. Being a truck driver, it's going to always be with you, 20 years I've been on the road. It's just in your blood, and I reckon, as they say, once a truckie, always a truckie. You'll just keep doing it.